Hello, students. This is still Mr. Samuel Orji. I'm going to take SS1 students on government, and the topic for today is feudalism. Feudalism. What is feudalism, if I may ask? Who can attempt that question for us? Feudalism, I hope you've heard that topic before. Feudalism. Okay, Emeka, you did well. Thank you very much. You did well. He said it's a master-servant relationship based on land. Master-servant relationship based on land. That's a simple explanation of feudalism. He did well. So, we can equally say that apart from being a master-servant relationship, can say that it's a socio-political and economic system that existed during the Middle Ages in Europe between 11th and 13th century. Yes, that's what feudalism simply means. In feudalism, I want you to know these terms. Where you hear serfs, vassals, they equally mean servants, serfs or vassals or servants. Then I want us to equally note that feud equally means land or fief. Fief, feud, or land. These terms, we are supposed to equally note them very well. Now let us look at the features of feudalism. What are the characteristics of feudalism that differentiates them or differentiates it from other form of government? I want you to equally note that feudalism is a system of government that existed during a period that I mentioned before for you. Now, what are the features of feudalism? We said that the vassals keep possession of land as long as he performs his feudal duties. That means that so long as a servant is obedient to his master, the master will keep on entrusting him with a piece of land with which he's supposed to work on and bring returns to the master. Having said that, we are equally saying that the second feature of feudalism is that feudalism is based mainly on hierarchical order of ownership of land. That means that in feudal system we have lords, we have barons, we have kings, and so on and so forth, before we get to the last level where we have servants and peasants. That means that there is a hierarchical order of arrangement of people in a feudal system, starting with people who are most influential to people who are less important in society. Another feature of feudal system is that the land users or serfs hold land in return for services they rendered to their lords or kings. That means that the feudal lords give land to their servants because of the services such servants render to them. And because of that, it could be security services, because at night the servants can go to the house of their lords to, guard them at night. And because of that, a portion of land can be given to them to keep on farming on. Another feature of feudalism, of feudal system, is that the system is characterized by close personal bond between the serfs and their lords. There's a close relationship between the serfs, that is the servants, and their lords. The next characteristic is that only a vassal of the lord could receive a fief or land. That means that only servants belonging to a particular lord or particular baron or particular king can receive land from him. That means that only servants who are obedient to a particular king, lord, or baron can receive gifts of land to farm on by that king or baron or or lord. Another characteristic of this system is that the feudal tenants vow to give military service to their owner, to the owner of the land that they have. They are always giving military service. That means that they can go to war on behalf of their lord. And this makes their lord to keep on giving them land to farm on and bring back proceeds. Another feature of this system, feudal system, is that if a vassal was guilty of treason, the lord might claim his land by forfeiture. Who can tell me the meaning of treason? I've explained this word in our last lesson. It has come again. It has cropped up again now. What is the meaning of treason? Okay, that's fine. She did well. Now, she said that treason is when one commits a capital offense. That is a serious offense against one's country. And we are saying that as a feature of a feudal system, that if a servant commits a treasonable offense, a serious offense against his master, that can warrant his master to deprive him or take away the land from him. Having said that, I want us to go straight forward to the merits of feudal system. What are the merits that one could derive from this system? Feudalism encouraged self-reliance. By self-reliance, we mean that a lot of people, a lot of servants worked hard to gain their own independence through this system. It was a system that encouraged servants working hard to become their own masters, so that they can own their own land and have their own servants too. So it made them to be hardworking in a way. So another merit of feudal system is that it enabled those that were landless, especially the peasants and freedmen, to be provided with a landed property, which enabled them to feed their families and equally solve their problems. So we said that another merit of this system is that it made people who had no hope of having landed property to have land which they could farm on and feed their families and so on and so forth. Another feature of this feudal system is that it helped to sustain order in Europe. In the Middle Ages, this system helped to bring peace and unity amongst the people that existed. How do I mean? I mean that since there were lords and there were servants who were loyal to them, and there were so many lords in those systems, or in that time, in that era, a lot of people who were servants were obedient to their masters, and that helped to project an atmosphere of love and peace during that era. So we can equally say that it helped to promote an agrarian society. What do I mean by an agrarian society? It is simply a society which is based on agricultural activities. It promoted agriculture in a very huge way. Now, I equally want to say that the system enabled kings to become lords over those that hired land from them. That means that a lot of people were masters, a lot of people were servants, and it helped people to become lords over those that were their servants, to see about their affairs and welfare and so on and so forth. Apart from that, another positive angle to feudalism is that it encouraged the lords to protect the serfs in return for services rendered. I've explained this point before when I said that the servants could render security services to their masters. In return, their masters could equally render assistance to them by giving them land and seeing to their welfare too, seeing to their protection, that nobody lords over them. These are benefits that could be derived from this system. Another benefit that could be derived from this system is that it encouraged decentralization. It allowed some vassal states to operate under the emperor. You know that in a feudal system, we had so many laws, which means that so many lords had power to, administer their own whims and caprices or their own intention on their servants. That made it to become a decentralized system where power was not centralized on one power, on one person, like in a fascist regime where a few people could, organize a state and lord it over them, over the people. But in this system, we have so many laws. That means that power was distributed instead of being centralized. In a nutshell, I want us to look at the demerits of feudalism. I said that one of the demerits is that it weakened the sovereignty of the state. You know that in government, the state is supposed to be the most powerful. But now the power of the state was shared between the leaders of government leaders and leaders in the feudal system, lords. They help to share the powers of the state among them. And instead of making the power of the state to be most supreme, it now limited the powers of the state, whereby leaders of the state were shared, or powers of the state was shared among the feudal leaders or feudal lords. It's supposed not to be so. The state is supposed to be most supreme. Then the second disadvantage of this system is that there was constant war. Constant war in the sense that feudal lords wanted to have so many vast areas of land and have so many servants who work on them and give them proceeds or return. So it made them to fight a lot of war so as to conquer so many lands and subdue them. So another demerit of this system is that the system was exploitative in nature. So exploitative in the sense that servants were made to work like beasts of burden in so many farms. And, they gave returns to their masters. It encouraged injustice. Injustice in the sense that most times the lords presided over their matter, the matter between them and their tenants or servants. It's an aberration. It's a faulty way of doing things to say that a lord will be a judge in his own case. It said that in government, nobody should be a judge in his own case. But in this system, the judges or the people who judge the dispute between them and their servants, we are still the lords. So think of it, a situation whereby a lord will judge a matter between him and his servants. It's not good that way. So another disadvantage of this system is that it encouraged domination. It produced very powerful lords who controlled and dictated lives of their tenants. So in this system, it encouraged domination in the sense that the lords lorded it over and decided whatever happened in this system without giving their servants any space to have a say of their own. So this system, another demerit of this system is that there was no security of land ownership. This system never had security of land ownership in the sense that the piece of land farmed by the servants were not guaranteed. They could be forfeited anytime, any day. But once their master found them wanting in any way, they could deprive them of those land portions. Another demerit of this system is that the system did not encourage personal initiative and creativity from the servants. That means that there was no way that the system encouraged the servants to have an input, any type of positive input on how the system could be run. Everything was left in the hand of the lords to decide and carry out. So that's why we said that it killed personal initiative and creativity from the servants. Another demerit of this system was that it was undemocratic. That means that this system never allowed the freedom of any form of activity or freedom of any type of initiative, an idea or opinion from the servants. Having said this, we are through with this topic, feudalism. Before I call it a day with you, I want you to remember that feudalism, like we defined, is a type of master-servant relationship based on land. And I said that the feature is that land was just like a commodity. Land was the centerpiece of this system, whereby the lords who had land transferred it to their servants who farmed on it, brought out the proceeds, gave them some, and used some part of it to feed their families. Having said this, I hope you understood this system. Before I go, I want you to define feudalism. Secondly, I want you to explain 3 merits of this system and say 3 demerits of this system. Apart from those I mentioned when I was teaching you, I want you to equally describe the what led to feudalism. What do you think led to feudalism? God bless you as you answer these questions. Thank you very much.